In this video, I would like to explain how you can update the Axway API-Management Elastic integration when deployed on a Kubernetes using our HELM chart. This video is focusing on especially on the update of the Elastic version. So for this video, I have deployed the solution on an Elasticsearch cluster. And I have at the moment only 2 Elasticsearch cluster nodes. And this is not sufficient to perform a version change of the Elastic stack because of the master node, which when this one is taken down and updated to a new version, it cannot rejoin the cluster because no new master can be elected. Because it needs to have a quorum number of cluster nodes still running, which is not sufficient to have only one. So that's why the first step I'm going to do is to add another replica to my environment. And for that, I'm opening my local values file, and I'm adding for Elasticsearch to have 3 replicas instead of only 1. And then I can say I would like to upgrade. I'm currently on that version, and the intent of that video is to migrate to the version 7.16.2, which contains the Log4j version 2.17.0. So let me upgrade. So this is, of course, the strong recommendation that you have this version or this HELM local values file version controlled, and then maybe you don't perform the upgrade process manually, you have it part of your CI/CD pipeline, but have it version controlled to make it a repeatable process. So now let's see what happens with the pods. So that means a new one is actually created, Elasticsearch number 2. And we can also check in Kibana if something is changing. So let me make this also a little bit bigger. So docker logs, no, not logs, kubectl logs to -f or -f. So, and let's see, what is this error? Connection exception. Let me make the logs again, it's easier to read. So, okay. Yeah, that's okay. So that means now our 3rd node is joining the cluster, and it is in status green now. So that means all indices, replica shards, all shards are assigned, and now the cluster is rebalancing. So you see that the number of shards is increasing on the newly added node. It makes, let's say, besides CPU usage, memory usage, it makes no difference if you have added another one, because the amount of CPU usage which is, let's say, added, or which is now required for the additional Elasticsearch node, is also then removed from the other Elasticsearch nodes. Of course, this one here takes let's say, additional memory, but you can then also adjust the amount of memory when you have more Elasticsearch nodes. So maybe you have seen that now, due to the fact that I have changed the deployment or the stateful set for Elasticsearch, it's also restarting the other Elasticsearch nodes. And that's why the master node, this one went down, and the master node has been elected. This one now should become the master. So that means we also have to wait, or it's already online again. Okay, so now, as we have a 3-node Elasticsearch cluster, we can basically perform the upgrade process. And I would like to have this one to be on 7.16.2. It is not absolutely, or it is not necessary. You can set the version of the Elasticstack yourself. You find in the release notes of the Axway API-Management Elastic integration, which is the underlying default Elastic version, which is then written down in the base values, or in the HELM chart that is referencing the Elastic HELM charts, but you can override that version yourself if you want. So it means there is no need to wait for a new version just to have the underlying Elasticstack updated, especially when it comes to security issues or whatever. You can upgrade that yourself. So let me do this for all components. Or maybe I do this first for Elasticsearch only. Maybe that makes the most sense to do it step by step. And then let's wait. Let's see what happens. I would like to make sure that everything is as expected. So we have 3 nodes up and running. That's fine, and that's why we can now perform the upgrade. And there's already a new version. Let me use that one. Or maybe not, just we stick on the previous one. So I've decided maybe it's a good idea not to change the version of Kibana immediately, because Kibana is complaining when it's not connecting to Elasticsearch when the versions are not compatible. Running Kibana, this is my, let's say, observation. When it is once connected, it's still running, no matter if the Elasticsearch version is changing. So that means it makes sense to update Elasticsearch first, and afterwards update Kibana. So let's see. Now I'm expecting that the Elasticsearch nodes are going to roll to the new version. So Elasticsearch number 2, let's check. Docker logs, or sorry, logs number 2. So this is, by the way, pretty. I see this over and over again, that cannot download the GUI ASN database as part of the start process. You can safely ignore that. And I'm just checking for the version. So that means you see here that now a new Elasticsearch version is, let's say, is created. And very likely we also see this here. You see that the Elasticsearch cluster is still online, it's running. Now the first one is done, and now it's performing with the current master node. With this one, it was the master just a minute ago, but now as we have 2 Elasticsearch nodes remaining, Elasticsearch number 2 is elected as the new master, and now this one is safely updated and restarted with a new version, and then it is rejoining the cluster as a new node. So let me refresh the status. It's not yet online again. But now it's back online. It's already getting shards assigned. I prefer sometimes to wait until all indices are assigned again. So that means that all replica shards are assigned to a node. And then I can continue with the next one, or in that case, the HELM chart takes care about this. So now the pods. Now the first one is updated. Okay, and once this is done, then I'm going to update Kibana, because all these are clients, and I think that's safe to bring them up to the new version in one step. So we forget about the API portal. We are only focusing on the Elasticsearch. So let's see. It is already back online, and if I go now to the cluster overview, I can see that the cluster is now on version 7.16.2. So now let's go and perform a Helm upgrade again with the changed version in my local values file for Kibana, for Filebeat, and for Logstash. I even believe Filebeat is not necessary, or because it only creates the Filebeat configuration, but Filebeat itself is running as a sidecar to the API gateway, and that's why it even doesn't matter, because it is managed somewhere else. So that means there is no pod here for Filebeat. So it's now creating a new container for Kibana, and it's creating a new container for Logstash. I have 2 Logstash instances. So Logstash is, by the way, running together with Memcache as a sidecar, and Memcache is already running, and Logstash, that takes a while to get started. Okay, container should be obviously Logstash. Okay, now all the pipelines are running, and very likely it is not yet discovered as healthy as running, but in a minute or in a second, very likely it will be discovered as running. So, by the way, it is important when you update your Elasticstack to the version 7.16.x that you are using the Elastic solution version 4.xx, because this is then referencing a new Helm chart, and only with that Helm chart Elasticsearch becomes healthy, because there is a mistake in the Elasticsearch base Helm chart. So that means don't upgrade to the version 7.16 without using the most recent version, referencing the most current Helm chart from Elastic. So get pods. So now Logstash is running, Kibana is also running, so that means we can go to the cluster overview. I mean, this is maybe normal. Maybe let's reload the entire page. Go to stack monitoring. And then Kibana, we have at the moment 2 instances, and this one, I believe it's the current one, or not the current one, this is now the updated Kibana one, and the other one will disappear once the 15 minutes has passed. So, and also Logstash, of course, we have now 4 nodes in the current time range, and this is obviously the ones before, and this one is the new one with the version 7.16.2. So that's more or less the upgrade of the Elasticstack using our Helm chart, where you can set, if you want and if you need, the Elastic image tag yourself, if necessary for some reason. That's basically all I wanted to show you in this video, and I hope it was helpful. Thank you.